So I was training with particular vigor for an army course that was coming up. Kind of hard training since January. Got a little bit more serious March, April. Started really picking things up. In July, there's the aqua bike. There was also the Xterra. Would have been my first. Towards the end of August, it's going to be the 60K tour. Now, in my training, I started to notice in the morning I'd wake up and I could barely walk on my right ankle. So I went in, laid down the down low for the good old doc, and they sent me for some x-rays, looked at my ankle, looked at my hip, interestingly. Turns out I've got arthritis in my hip. So I kind of knew, I had an idea that there were things happening in the hip, deep things happening in the hip. And so I wasn't surprised, but a little deflated, let's just say. So to me, this is amazing because this gives me a grand opportunity to take my work to a whole new stratospheric level. I have to rebuild my hip. Needless to say, the racing season and the army course have been put on hold until I can gain a little more insight into the nature of rebuilding an arthritic hip. My issue is an externally rotated hip, short range of motion or lack of range of motion in the ankle. And so I'm going to have to go way back to basics. I'm going to have to learn my body at a whole new level to reset that hip and get it working again in a more optimal range of motion pattern. So it's going to be interesting. In 2 years, I'll redo the x-ray and there'll be less signs of arthritis in the hip, greater bone density. I have to learn to stand again. I have to learn to walk and do everything again to get the unused or the inner portion of the hip working. So we'll see. I'm going to have to talk to some experts, and I'm going to have to deepen into my work to a whole new level that I have only imagined and dreamed of in the past. So this arthritic hip gives me an opportunity to get hungry, to get fresh, and to return to the earlier state of greater wonder and intrigue into the human body. And so we'll see. So I invite you to join me in this journey. And I specifically work with people that have injuries or limitations or things in their body that hold them back from higher levels of performance. And I've always been able to take people through the process of identifying what's causing an injury, what's causing pain, and then correcting that, strengthening that, and then moving forward into performance without pain. So now I've worked myself through my shoulder, my knee, my back, my elbows, neck, you name it. And so now this is just the next chapter, the next phase in the grand work. And I invite you to stay posted with oncoming videos about the specifics of the anatomy behind the matter and what you can do about it. And there are other things as well that I've had to work through that I'll more explicitly detail in upcoming videos. For now, auf Wiedersehen.